Hi guys, I'm going to be tying up some leaders today. Turn around, Robin. This is Robin, co-owner of Winter's Hope Flying River, and today we're going to be tying some egg loop leaders. Now, I've watched some videos on YouTube about this, and I do it a bit differently. I do it with my fly tying vise, and that's because mainly all of my videos are fly tying videos. And I developed this way with my fly tying vise to tie egg leaders that are nice and tight, really nice and neat. And here's one of them right here. I'll try to get in as close as I can to this thing. So this is the finished product. Now if I lift this up, you can see, I'll pull it out of the way for you. That, guys, right there is a really nice egg leader. And what I'm using, and this is actually to show you guys that I don't just buy this stuff and repackage it and call it my own. I actually make all this stuff myself. So here's my Gamakatsu 1/0 and 2/0 hooks that I'm using for my stuff, and then this is the Spirit River eggs, UV2 eggs that I'm using. There's some of the smaller 10 millimeters. These are the bigger 12 millimeters here. And then also, this is my egg skein yarn that I use right here. So this stuff right here is the primary stuff that I've been using for my 1/0 and 2/0 leaders, and you can see right there, it is in fact the UV2 rose skein yarn and stuff. Now there's one all packaged up, there's one in the vise. So you can see that, guys, that I'm not really just making this stuff up. I really honestly do tie this stuff up. There's my pink crystal flash that I use and my various tools and stuff. So anyway, we're going to get busy. We're going to tie up one of these leaders right here. So let's go. So anyway, there's the line that I'm using. It's Garcia Super Strong monofilament, really good stuff. And that's what I'm using for my 1/0 and 2/0 hooks. So let's just go ahead and pull out 6 feet of this stuff here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by feeding this line right through there. I take it about to the back of the hook, the end of the line there. I'm going to trap that down right up on top. I'm going to make my first loop like this, trap it down with my thumb, and there's my first wrap right there. I'm going to make 12 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now here's the nice thing about using the fly tying vise. See that? It's not loose. As long as I keep tension on this line, it's not going to come loose here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold this down here with my hand. I'm going to pull this line until I get to the other end, and the vise is nice. It's holding it nice and firmly. This is a simple loop to tie, guys. It was hard for me at first, but then when I saw how it was done, it's really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this all the way down through. Here's the tricky part. This is where guys get confused. Which one wraps around here? Well, it's this one here that you've already started wrapping with. And you're going to keep this one here is the one that I fed through the eye of the loop. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trap this down again. And I'm going to go right over the top of that with 12 more wraps. And when I do it, I'm going to come over the top and I'm going to wrap first and keep that line right up on top, just like that. Then I'm going to trap it and I'm going to see how I've got everything. I'm holding everything just like that. Now I'm going to just take my finger and pull this through. And there's one. And I'm going to do that 12 times. 2. Pull it through. Okay, there's 12 complete wraps. Now what I'm going to do is I have this tension here. I'm just going to simply hold my vise and I'm just going to grab my finger in there and then I'm going to pull on this leader until it goes tight. Just like that. Now you can see that this leader, when you spin that line around up on top, and I line this thing up, look at that leader right there, guys. I'm going to trim this little tag end up pretty close right there. Get rid of that. That is a perfect egg loop leader right there. It will not come loose. The vise held it so I didn't have to do this in my fingers like every single other video I've seen. Nobody is using a fly tying vise. I don't know why. Because it's a lot, maybe they don't have a fly tying vise, but it's a lot easier to use your fly tying vise if you have one or some sort of a vise to hold your hook in place so that you can make these wraps. That is a perfect 12 and 12 wrap, which is what I make all my egg loop leaders. They're all 12 wraps in front, 12 wraps behind. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my egg skein yarn in. And I just made a couple of simple marks on my desk right here. So every time I cut my egg skein, I cut it to this length right here. I made a couple of black marks on my desk here. And so I cut my egg skein yarn because I know that that's about the length that I need to do to make this yarn just right. So I'm going to cut that there. And then the next trick of this is I lay this stuff underneath of my needle nose pliers. And then I grab the tips right up here together. I grab them just like this. And then I feed the leader back through a little bit, so I've got a loop there. Then this is kind of a tricky part. I come underneath the line with my needle nose pliers, and then I go over the top of the line and I get just the tips of the yarn, so that when I pull it through, I can come through that other side of the yarn and it pulls it through nice and neat and tightens it down. Then I just draw that thing down, tighten up the yarn just like that, and now there's my yarn part of it. And I don't care if there's a little bit of snaggly looking stuff. It kind of adds to the realism of the row skein. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to pull this back a little bit now, get rid of some of that stuff there. And this part right here, the underneath part, I don't want the crystal flash on top because it sticks straight up. You want it laying underneath of this stuff. So what I do is I pull that out, then I gather up 3 pieces of crystal flash here. So the next thing I do is I gather up my 3 pieces. I do just like I did with the yarn. I lay it on the back side of the needle nose pliers, and then I gather it up on the top. Try not to let it come off of the end. That's why I'm holding my finger right here, to keep that stuff from rolling off of the needle nose pliers, because if you lose it, then you got to start over. So you gather that up, you put it under and come over the top and grab that crystal flash right on the other side, and then you let go of it and you pull it through. It's like a hook and loop type of deal when you're, like if you're knitting or crocheting. So you draw that down tight, then you draw the whole thing down tight. See there how that crystal flash now lays on the bottom? That's what you want. You wouldn't want it up on top because it would be sticking straight up on top. So you lay that stuff on the bottom, you go ahead and trim this right here. Throw the excess away. Grab one of the Spirit River UV2 eggs, which are now obsolete. You can't buy them anymore. That's why you want to buy my leaders, because you can't get these anymore. This is special stuff. So you thread the egg through the line, you bring the egg down tight, and there you go, guys. There's one of my leaders right there. You saw how quickly I made it. It was simple. I sell these for 4 for $15 online in our store. I have them also individually for $5 a piece. Save yourself some money and buy them 4 at a time, okay? That's the leader right there. I'm not making this stuff up. I really do tie this stuff myself. I'm tying this with my Renzetti vise. It's a traveler vise. That is the easiest way I know to tie an egg loop leader using the materials that I do. Winter's Hope Flying River. Check out our leaders in there. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching the video.